What is up, guys? My name's Willie G. I'm going to be doing a Bermuda Triangle Stride deck profile for you guys. Now, I will mention a couple of things. I'm not playing Olivia, but I found a deck build that's a lot of fun, so if you're having problems like affording Olivias, then this is something that you can definitely pick up and still enjoy a whole hell of a lot. Your goal with this deck is to punch your opponent as many times as possible and draw cards while doing so, while also unflipping damage. It's just like this whole cycle. And I'll also mention harmony really quickly. So to be in harmony is one unit is placed in the same column as another. So say one unit leaves the field and then is returned to the field, then those units reharmonize. And that's about as simple as it is. And there's a lot of effects that either you need to boost or you need to be in harmony to activate, outside of even just the cards I'll show you today. But that's as simple as it is. So your starter is going to be First Lesson Akari. She's GB1. If it's in harmony, then you can put her into the soul to choose a dude, return it to the hand, and draw a card. It really helps start off all of your combos. Really good starter. Probably the best you can play. I'm playing 3 Loris. I think 7 grade 3s is really good, and you have a grade 1 that searches her, which is also the Stride Enabler. So she is a GB2. When it's in harmony, like when it becomes into harmony, you choose 2 of your units, they get +5, and then it gets a critical. And then when you stride on top of her, you counterblast 1, you return one of your dudes from your rear guard to your hand, and then draw a card. So again, your engine is very strong. You already have 2 cards that let you draw cards. Now for the other half of the engine. Little Princess, Hamiri. This is the one that I didn't want to cut at all. Like, I can cut Loris because I can search her, but I can't search Hamiri. So that's why I kept her at 4. And what sold me on playing her outside of the other grade 3 that also has a GB1, quite frankly, she can be played on rearguard too. So her effect is when it hits a vanguard, if it's in harmony, you can return one of your other dudes to your hand, call another one, and that unit gets +5. Really awesome effect. All at the counterblast of 1. The only condition is that it has to hit. So you force a lot of shields with this card though. To start off with my grade 2s, I will start off with the one that's most similar to her. You have Spica. Now, she's a little bit more conditional, but easier to actually get off. She has a GB1. When this unit attacks a vanguard and is boosted, you can return one of your dudes by counterblasting 1 and then calling another one, and it gets +3. So she's 5 and she's 3. Your usual attack order will be whatever rearguard is on this side, then you'll attack with her boosted. So that's 1, 2, and then whatever unit you call, you attack with again. Say it's one of her, then you're able, like if it hits, then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then attack with your vanguard. So you can also call other Spikas with this effect. You just can't return these cards with their own effects and then call them again. That's just something to keep in mind. So what cards are you going to be returning? Well, the first one is going to be Amelia. GB1, when she's returned to your hand from your rearguard, you draw a card. Awesome. And she also has resist. So, no, Link Joker, you're not going to Omega Glendios lock me. I'm sorry, not today. And then the other card you're going to be returning is Rika. She has the effect where if she's returned to your hand from your rearguard, you soul charge 1 and counter charge 1. So, already really good start, right? One of the better damage on flippers. I know she's only an 8, but with Spica returning her, she gets 8 +3, so she can actually hit 11s. Just remember that. Don't be afraid to attack with her with a really weak booster. You have 4 of the Grand Guards. Obviously really good with this deck because you want to be unflipping damage. That's about it. And then you have 4 of your Stride Enablers that search out your Loris. This card I'll actually go into a little bit more depth with. Superb new student Shizuku. So she has a once per turn, so that's each instance of her once per turn. GB1, when she becomes in harmony, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, you snag a grade 3 and shuffle your deck. So this card does +1, and it does help you stride. That is why people play 4 of it. But I'm only playing 3 because I'm playing less grade 3s. So I felt that balance would really be intuitive to me, and surprisingly, it's worked out great. Like, you only resolve her effect maybe 2 or 3 times at most anyway, no matter what build you're playing. It's just the cards that I see, that like the ones that I'm playing, I want to see those a lot too. So I cut her down to play other cards. We have one more damage on Flipper, and that is the Duo Parasol. It's not specific to Duo with its effect, so that's why it's really good. When it's placed on rearguard, you Soul Blast 2, unflip 2 damage. So there you go. You already have your Spica and Amelia combo right there. That you can do really cool things, like you can return her and then call her in a different spot. So like you'll attack with this and a Spica column, and then you'll like return her and call her behind your Vanguard. And then you can also do the effect. You can do this twice per turn then. So if you really do need the damage to be unflipped, say you have 5 damage and most of it's already flipped over, no problem, as long as you have Soul. So you might be asking now, what helps you with Soul that isn't Rika? Bam, 2 more of the starter. This card is so good. There are so many targets. You want to return your Rika, you want to return Amelia's, you want to return your Parasol, just so many things that you want to return, and you Soul Charge and you draw a card. So everything is great about this card as a starter. I felt it would also be amazing to play it in the main deck. It has not disappointed me once yet. I resolve this effect all the time, and if you open up with it, it kind of sucks, but it is a 10k shield, so no worries, right? For my triggers, we have 4 heal, very standard. The next one is going to be 4 of my stands. I'm doing the Irish one, the Look of the Irish. When it's returned to your hand from your rearguard, you Soul Blast 1, you choose a dude, and it gets +4. And this is where I will actually mention something very important about Bermuda Triangle. So, if a unit's returned to your hand, and then called again, the same unit, you can still use its effect as if it was returned to the hand, because it was. Conditions were met. So, you can actually boost this unit with its own effect. So, call it, return it. It's now an 8 plus whatever you gave it. So, it could be an 8 plus 3, so it could be an 11 swinging trigger, or just shenanigans like that. My next trigger is going to be Krook, Dreamer. Now, this is the reason I didn't play Olivia, because Olivia returns all your rearguards, so all of them will be standing. This is a stand trigger that gives you another attack. GB1, if it's in Harmony, you can put it on the top of your deck at the end of a battle that it boosted a unit, and then you return that unit to your hand, call another unit, and then you shuffle your deck. So, wow, there's so many attacks per turn with this card. I mean, it might be only a 4 booster, but that's sometimes just enough. Like, realistically, that is just enough. And it's a stand trigger that shuffles itself back into the deck and also gives you another attack. There's very little to not like about this card. Like, this is probably one of the best stands I've actually seen, and it was the entire motivation for playing this deck. My very last trigger is going to be Rihanna. I'll try not to call her Rihanna, please. I would not approve. She's the Loris crit trigger. When your Vanguard attacks, if it is a Loris, then you can put it into your soul, draw a card, and your Vanguard gets +5 until the end of that battle. Really good. So usually you'll boost a column with her, so she'll be at rest, and then you'll put her into the soul. So you don't lose anything. You get a free attack in with her, and then you get to draw a card. So now we are on to the Stride deck. My first one is going to be Blizza. So in theory, you should be able to Stride every turn. In actuality, it doesn't always happen. So Blizza makes it so you're always at GB2 for Loris to be able to get the critical and to really push for game with her effect. So in the case that you cannot Stride every single turn, using Blizza early on is really good. Plus it also swings for 31. So Blizza is a really, really good card for that. I'm playing 3 of the Glass Shoe. She's okay. Honestly, I would play less of her and play like maybe some other card that goes well with Blizza, like an Atmos or something. But I like her at 3, surprisingly enough. So her effect is when she's placed on Vanguard, you choose 2 of your rear guards and return them to the hand. So with your Vanguard being Loris, you counterblast 1 to return 3 units and draw a card. You have to get into this idea where you use combos in this manner, or else it doesn't flow as easily. But still really good, especially like if you ride Little Princess, then you won't be able to return any rear guards at all. So this will be able to give you access to that without having to hit or anything like that. Now let's get into the one that lets you have to hit. Fluffy Ribbon. I love the flavor text on this. They aren't cat ears. So when this attack hits a Vanguard, you choose one of your dudes, return it to the hand, call it, and give it +3. That's really good still. You have so many effects where if it hits, I'm going to do something. Even if it doesn't hit, I'm going to do something. So all of them have really, really good effects in conjunction with each other. Like this column, no matter if it hits or not, I'm going to return 2 units and then attack you again. So that's something that I really love about the deck. Your combos are going to be pretty much choose it yourself, whichever one you want to start out with. I actually really like starting out with her as one of my rear guards for the combos. You know, having her and Spica on opposite sides. And sometimes you won't be able to attack unboosted with this card, but you're not really going to cry about it because there's so many other cards that do so much work. Like you can even call this behind it, and it'll be able to hit something. Not very hard, but it'll still be able to hit something. That's the goal, is just getting tons of attacks in. Even if your opponent shells out 5K shields, that's still a lot of shield per turn. So that's just something that you have to keep in mind. And since you're drawing cards while you're doing these combos, then you are very easily ahead of your opponent in hand advantage and in damage because you're just doing so many attacks every turn. Well, this has been my Bermuda deck profile, the Stride version this time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Remember to like and subscribe. And this is Willie G signing out. Thanks, guys.